Hello everyone and welcome to Talking Class with Roland-ish. I'm Matt, and in this video I'm going to break down all the features you get playing the 4 subclasses of the Ranger class for D&D's 5.5e or the 2024 Player's Handbook. If you haven't done so already, take a look at our Talking Class playlist. There you're going to find all the videos breaking down what you get, levels 1 through 20, for each class, and a separate video that breaks down the features of their subclasses, like this one. Looking at the Ranger, we start with Beastmaster as the first offering here. This is going to be for the Ranger that really wants to have that Beast companion. If you're into fantasy or old school D&D lore, there was a Drow Ranger named Dritz Duerden, and he had a panther named Guinevere, which was a magical item, but in the sense it was used in this way. It was his beast companion, could attack on its own turns, things like that. That's what this is going to do. And at level 3, you get to choose your primal companion. They each have a stat block. There's Beast of the Land, Beast of the Sea, Beast of the Sky. They each are going to come with their own stat blocks, which we'll take a look at. But once you decide on what type of beast companion you want, like obviously Beast of the Sky is going to be something that flies, a Beast of the Sea is something of the sea. Now, you don't have to be in water for that to happen. If you wanted a beast companion that was a seahorse, it would be a spectral primal image. So it's something that could not really need to breathe or sleep. So this is going to be open up a wide range of animals to you. Just keep it realistic. Is your primal companion going to be an elephant tromping around the woods? Probably not. But a tiger, a fox, something like that, it makes sense. As part of this, you get the feature Beast in Combat. So in combat, this bestial companion can move, and it can use its reaction on its turn on its own. But the only action it can take is a dodge action, which means it's going to impose disadvantage on an attack roll against it until the start of its next turn. Unless you take a bonus action to command it to take an action in its stat block. It's not talking about your character sheet where you can dodge and help and dash. That's not the same thing as a stat block. So in the stat block, you can use your bonus action for it to take an action. Otherwise, you use your action, you use your bonus actions. It shares initiative with you. So when the beast is ready to go, it's only going to take a dodge unless you burn that bonus action. So you can sacrifice one of your attacks in your attack action once you reach a level for multi-attack to then allow the beast to take an action. If you have the incapacitated condition, the beast acts on its own and isn't limited to the dodge action. For restoring or replacing the beast, that is the next feature. If the beast has died within the last hour, you can take a magic action to touch it and expend a spell slot. The beast returns to life after a minute with all its hit points restored. It's basically like a long rest. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can summon a different primal beast, which appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. You choose its stat block. Remember, that's Beast of the Land, Beast of the Sea, Beast of the Sky. You're not actually going to go and choose that animal's stat block. You're using one of these 3. So you choose, and if you already have a beast from this feature, the old one vanishes and the new one appears. So you could swap them during after a long rest, but just know that they're not going to stack. Now, looking at these stat blocks, they're pretty much the same. The armor class is going to be 13 plus your wisdom modifier. The hit points are going to be 5 plus 5 times your ranger level. Now, as far as its hit dice are concerned, in taking a short rest, that's how many you can expend. It says here that the beast is going to have a number of hit dice equal to your ranger level. So here at level 1, it's 1. At level 2, it's 2. It's going to have the same amount of hit dice you do for the purpose of healing at short rests and things like that. The stat blocks are a little different when it comes to speed. The Beast of the Land has a speed of 40 and can climb 40, whereas the Beast of the Sea has 5 feet of movement, but 60-foot swim. Beast of the Sky has 10 feet of movement on its feet or legs, 60 feet fly. So depending on the stat block or the beast that you're summoning, it may vary. The stats themselves are pretty much identical. They are identical, except for the Beast of the Sky is a little bit weaker, but more in strength, but more dexterous. Overall, your Beast is going to have a trait and an action. So the action that you could use your bonus action to command it to take if you're using the Beast of the Land would be the Beast's Strike. This would be its attack. Um, the bonus would equal your spell attack modifier. It's a 5-foot range, and on a hit, the damage is 1d8 plus 2, plus your wisdom modifier, and it will be bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, your choice, when you summon the beast. So if it has claws, it's probably going to be slashing damage, right? You're going to have to think that way. If the beast moved at least 20 feet towards a target before the hit, the target takes an extra d6, and the target would be prone if it's large or smaller. So that is imagining the beast running forward and pouncing. That's the visual effect you need to make that make sense, I guess. Running at least 20 feet to the target, that's when that extra will take effect. When you're using Beast of the Sea, the action for Beast Strike is pretty similar. The bonus would be your spell attack modifier, reaches 5 feet. The damage is 1d6 plus 2 plus your wisdom modifier for bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing, depending on the type of creature you or beast you chose. And the target is grappled if it's hit by you. So the escape DC would be your spell save DC, so whatever that is. If you're choosing Beast of the Sky, the strike is going to be a bonus equal to your spell attack modifier. The reach is 5 feet. The damage is 1d4 plus 3 plus your wisdom modifier, and it will be slashing damage because birds of prey, or birds in general, they all have talons. That's what it would look like. So they all have different traits too. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see they each have a trait. Beast of the Sea and Beast of the Sky have 2 different traits. So these stat blocks are similar, but they are different, and it makes sense for the type of beast that you might choose. Okay, now, moving forward, and level 7, you get exceptional training. When you take a bonus action to command your primal companion beast to take an action like its strike, you can also now command it to take the dash, disengage, dodge, or help action using its bonus action. So you could still use your bonus action to command the beast. Now it's the beast's turn. It takes its action, let's say, to make its strike. As a bonus action, you can have that beast disengage, dash, dodge, or help because it's its bonus action. So that's pretty cool. And in addition, it says whenever it hits with an attack roll and deals damage, it can deal your choice of force damage or the normal damage type provided based on the action in the stat block and the type of beast you chose. So replacing it with force damage is actually smart. I would probably do that every time once I get this feature at level 7, simply for the fact that a lot of creatures might have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. Not a lot of creatures have resistance to force. It is the least resistant, least immune. So, smart. At level 11, you get Bestial Fury. When you command your primal companion to take the Beast Strike action, it can use it twice. So here at level 11 for you, your Beast Companion is getting multi-attack. In addition, the first time each turn, if it hits a creature under the effect of your Hunter's Mark spell, the beast deals extra force damage equal to the bonus damage of that spell. So, when you roll Hunter's Mark, it's usually a d6 until much later level you get a d10. You're dealing extra damage to a creature you have marked. So now this is saying if the first time each turn that your beast hits a creature that is Hunter's Marked by you, the beast also will deal extra damage because it's Hunter's Marked, and that beast is like a part of you. And that bonus damage will be whatever yours is, so a d6. So, or if later levels it becomes a d10, it would be that. So it's growing with you, and that's pretty cool. At level 15, share spells. You can cast a spell targeting yourself. You can also affect your primal companion beast with that spell if the beast is within 30 feet of you. For example, Cure Wounds. Cure Wounds to heal yourself. If your companion's within 30 feet, it's going to heal too. You don't burn double the spell slots or double the spell. It just affects you both equally, not splitting up. This is very clear. It's sharing the spell. Okay, that's our beast companion. Moving on to the next option is Fey Wanderer. This is going to be someone that has transformed due to the magic of the Feywild. You could picture that as some kind of boon or bargain. Perhaps it's a location within the Fey that was so consumed by magic it latched onto you a bit. Um, this is for the ranger that wants to also play maybe something joyful, somebody that's going to bring joy and laughter to the party that doesn't necessarily have to be the bard. Because the trickery and jokey nature of the Fae would be coming through you in this manner. So, keeping that in mind, at level 3, your first feature you get is Dreadful Strikes. When you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d4 psychic damage to that creature, which can take this extra damage only once per turn. So, as you level up and you get access to extra attack, it's not going to be on every strike. It could be once per turn. The extra damage is going to increase from a d4 to a d6 when you reach level 11. Also, at level 3, you get access to your Fey Wanderer spells. These are spells that will always be prepared and not count against the number you yourself can prepare. At level 3, you get Charm Person. 5, it's Misty Step. Level 9, Summon Fey. That would be interesting and fun because you get to do, it's not a beast companion or anything like that, but this is you summoning a little helper of your own. Dimension Door and Mislead. Misty Step and Dimension Door are both teleportation spells. Charm Person is what it sounds like. And Mislead is you become invisible, and then the until you make an attack roll, deal damage, or cast a spell, because then you reveal yourself. But as a magic action, you can move an illusionary double of yourself up to twice your speed and make it gesture, speak, behave in whatever way you choose. This is to hide yourself with the invisibility and make everybody think that this illusionary double that just appeared in your place in the blink of an eye is actually you. Mislead. So if you want to lead an enemy in a certain direction so you can ambush them, that is a great way to do that and use that. Okay. But you also possess a Fey Blessing, and there are 6 options. You can roll a d6 and choose that. You choose one from the list here without rolling, or talk to your DM and come up with something interesting of your own. Some of the ones here are flowers bloom from your hair each dawn. Okay. Your shadow dances while no one else is looking directly at it. I like that. See, these are trickery, fun things to do that give you some Fey flavor. At level 3, otherworldly glamour. Whenever you make a charisma check, you gain a bonus to the check equal to your wisdom modifier. You also gain proficiency in one of the skills of your choice if you don't already have it: deception, performance, or persuasion, all of which are charisma based. At level 7, you get beguiling twist. You have advantage on saving throws to avoid the charmed or frightened condition. In addition, and this is where I think the best part of the feature comes in, whenever you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you succeeds on a saving throw to end the charmed or frightened condition, you can take a reaction to force a different creature you can see within 120 feet of yourself to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. On a fail, the target is charmed or frightened, your choice, for 1 minute. The target repeats the save at the end of each of its turn, ending the effect on itself on a success. Here's what I love about that. It says whenever you or a creature you can see within 120 feet of you. That can be an ally. If an ally of yours succeeds on the saving throw, you can take it off of them and put it on somebody else, like an enemy. It does not say when you charm it or you frighten it and then you see it succeed, you can move it. It's just saying whenever you see a creature within 120 feet succeed on the saving throw to end charmed or frightened, you can put it on somebody else. Beguiling twist. Love that. It's a great name. Level 11, you get Fey reinforcements. You can cast Summon Fey without a material component. You can also cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain the ability to cast it in this way whenever you finish a long rest. Whenever you start casting the spell, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do so, the spell's duration becomes 1 minute for the casting. It'll take you a minute to cast that spell. So it's something that you would want to do, probably not in combat, but leading up to it to prepare yourself for some kind of buff or whatever it is that you would be concentrating on. At level 15, you get Misty Wanderer. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot. You can do so a number of times, equal to your Wisdom modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. In addition, whenever you cast Misty Step, you can bring along one willing creature you can see within 5 feet of you. That creature teleports to an unoccupied space of your choice within 5 feet of your destination space. That's great, because that's basically making Misty Step Dimension Door, because that's what Dimension Door does. You can bring somebody with you. That's pretty cool, considering Misty Step is a second level spell. Now, this says you can use it one time without expending a spell slot. It's a freebie, but it also says whenever you cast Misty Step. So if you have this spell prepared, and you would, anytime you cast it, it doesn't mean the freebie that you get. Anytime you cast Misty Step, you can bring somebody along. That's really cool. That makes that pretty strong, in my opinion. Next, we have Gloomstalker. So you have a Feywild version of the Ranger, and the Fey Wanderer, this is its ugly cousin, the Gloomstalker from the Shadowfell. At level 3, you get Dread Ambusher. You get a couple of benefits here. First, it's Ambusher's Leap. At the start of your first turn of each combat, your speed increases by 10 feet until the end of that turn. At the start of your first turn in the combat, not all turns, first turn until the end of that turn. So you get a little bit of speed boost right away. You also gain Dreadful Strike. When you attack a creature and hit it with a weapon, you can deal an extra 2d6 psychic damage. You can use this benefit only once per turn. You can use it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier, so it's expendable and you got to keep track. And you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Also, you get an initiative bonus. When you roll initiative, you can add your Wisdom modifier to that roll. Remember that. You should be going high in the initiative order. Level 3, you also get access to your Gloomstalker spells. So, like the Fey Wanderer, you get one at a couple of intervals here, and they will make sense for the subclass. Level 3, you get Disguise Self. Level 5, Rope Trick, which is a really cool spell that basically you make a rope appear, you can climb up it and hide in a hidden, invisible, extra-dimensional space, pull that rope up, and nobody knows you're there. At level 9, you get Fear. At level 13, you get Greater Invisibility. At level 17, you get Seeming. These are ways to either disguise yourself, right? Disguise self, Seeming. Hide yourself, Rope Trick, Greater Invisibility, or protect yourself by having enemies fear you. So pretty good stuff. I think that fits the mood of the subclass. You also get Umbral Sight. You gain Dark Vision with a range of 60 feet. But what if I already have Dark Vision? It will extend your Dark Vision by 60 feet. It's great. You're also adept at evading creatures that rely on dark vision. While entirely in darkness, you have the invisible condition to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you in that darkness. And again, we find darkness capitalized, which is hinting at the fact that not only does it encumber regular darkness, but it encompasses the darkness, magical darkness spell. So you're going to be invisible in darkness, magical or not. And if somebody's going to be like, but I have dark vision, they won't see you, making it a great place for you to hide. Love it. At level 7, you get Iron Mind. You gain proficiency in the Wisdom saving throw. If you already have this proficiency, you instead gain proficiency in Intelligence or Charisma, your choice. At level 11, you get Stalker's Flurry. The psychic damage of your Dreadful Strike becomes 2d8. At level 3, it's 2d6. In addition, when you use Dreadful Strike effect on your Dread Ambusher feature, you can cause one of the following effects. Sudden Strike. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target and is in your weapon's range. Love that. It's a free attack roll. It's not another attack action, so no, you won't extra attack this. If you're attacking and you use extra attack, this is saying when you use your Dreadful Strike, you can then make a third attack. Not a full action. Also, there's Mass Fear. The target and each creature within 10 feet of it must make a Wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC. If they fail, they become frightened until the start of your next turn. So it's a turn to get them subdued a bit. At level 15, you get Shadowy Dodge. When a creature makes an attack roll against you, you can take a reaction to impose disadvantage on that roll. Whether the attack hits or misses, you can then teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. If it missed, I would roleplay that into it missed because you teleported. If it hit, you got hit and then teleported to get out of dodge. All right. Lastly, we have Hunter. This is actually my favorite subclass for the Ranger class. This is what it sounds like. You're the type of Ranger that is an expert in hunting things down. So this is going to be the combat friendly version of the Ranger, which is already combat friendly. At level 3, you get Hunter's Lore. Whenever a creature is marked by your Hunter's Mark, you know whether that creature has any immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities. Not all three, or. And if the creature has any, you know what they are. So you can ask, do they have immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities to your DM? And your DM will tell you. Maybe it's a resistance to something. It's a resistance. Okay, great. I'm going to use my Hunter's Lore to find out what that resistance is. That's a good way to do that. Level 3, Hunter's Prey. You gain one of the following options of your choice. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can replace the chosen option with the other one. So you can swap these out. Here are the choices for your Hunter's Prey. Colossus Slayer. When you hit a creature with a weapon, the weapon deals an extra 1d8 damage if the target is missing any hit points. So it must have been hit already. You can deal this damage only once per turn. Or you could use Horde Breaker. Once on each of your turns, when you make an attack with a weapon, you can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature that is within 5 feet of the original target, that is within the weapon's range, and you haven't attacked this turn. So, getting that extra attack to break up a horde, sometimes kobolds, goblins, gnolls, they like to hunt in packs. They like to be near each other because they get advantages. Some of them do. So, to be able to break that up a little bit is a cool feature to create some space. At level 7, you get Defensive Tactics. You gain one of the following features of your choice. Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can replace the choice with the other. So the options are Escape the Horde. Opportunity attacks have disadvantage against you. Or after a short or long rest, you can swap it out for Multi-Attack Defense. When a creature hits you with an attack roll, that creature has disadvantage on all other attack rolls against you this turn. That's pretty great because by the time you're level 7, a lot of the creatures you are fighting have multi-attack. And sometimes it isn't just 2. It could be 3 or 4. So the fact that you can impose disadvantage if it hits you with an attack roll, any remaining attack rolls it has on that turn will have disadvantage. Love that. So it's going to help you defensively, which is why the feature is called Defensive Tactics. At level 11, you have Superior Hunter's Prey. Once per turn, whenever you deal damage to a creature that is marked by your Hunter's Mark, you can also deal that spell's extra damage to a different creature you can see within 30 feet of the first. It's as if you did that damage and that damage echoed to that other target. That's pretty cool. Level 15, you get Superior Hunter's Defense. When you take damage, you can take a reaction to give yourself resistance to that damage and any other damage of the same type until the end of the current turn. So let's say it is some kind of sorcerer's turn. Some evil sorcerer catches you and casts Fireball. You're going to take damage. It's 8d6 on a normal Fireball. So when that happens, you have to make a dexterity saving throw. If you succeed, you take half damage. If you fail, you take full damage. This is where I think something like this would be great and come in handy, because if I do have to take that damage, I can give myself resistance. So even if I was going to take the full blow, I'm still only taking half, pass or fail, that dex save. So that's just an example of how that would be used in play. But if you think about that, it's nice to have at the ready, but keep your reaction if you think you may need it. Remember, reactions are also opportunity attacks when an enemy moves away from you, but once you use your reaction, that is it. You only have one reaction per round, and yours resets on your turn. So keep that in mind. All right, those are the 4 subclasses for the Ranger class: the Beastmaster, Fey Wanderer, Gloomstalker, and Hunter. Did you like this video? Can you do that real quick? We want to make sure these videos get to an audience that want another opinion, or players that are new to the game. If you haven't done so already, check out our Talking Class playlist. There you'll find all the videos breaking down the class features, as well as the a separate video like this one that breaks down the subclass features. I hope you enjoy building your Ranger. Let us know in the comments what you went with, and until then, we'll see you at the table.